the promoter and leadership.
The family, our young brother, our leader in the opposition party, my colleagues MPs who are here, and other leaders who have been introduced. Of you who have come to stand with the family, I salute you in the name of the Almighty God. See, the reason we delayed, we are transiting from FDC to PFF. So sometimes we don't know whether we are FDC or PFF. So when you called PFF, I looked behind and I saw the chairman of FDC. I said, does he represent us? The graduate, every year we spend as a country 255 billion on external security organization, ESO. We also spend about 111 billion on internal security organization, ISO. The biggest work that ISO has done this year is to go and kidnap Dr. Besigye from Nairobi. And they said he had 2 pistols, but there are guns killing people in Italy. So these fellows went to Nairobi to pick a person, allegedly with the 2 guns that had killed nobody, but they can't pick guns that are killing our people. Our enemy, who is NRM, we have nothing personal about people who are ruling this country. We're only asking them to be merciful to the country. I told Mr. Museveni one time we were appearing together on a radio station that as a young man when he came here, Uganda was the project. Along with the Home Museveni became the project. So they will run after someone protesting. You've seen them on the street, running after younger girls who are just in knickers, battalions of police. But thugs are killing one person after another. And then they will produce a report that will never come. So that is our difference, not because these fellows, we don't like them. For me, I went to fight in the war I was 12 years old. I have now grown, I am an old man. So as we join the family to mourn Albert Cook, we also join in demanding that those who killed him, we need to see them. We want to see ESO, we want to see police, CMI, everybody who are running around. We want them to apprehend the killers. Today people went to visit Dr. Besigye in New Zealand. They are all there hundreds, just rearing and herding people as if they are animals. When a country begins to disintegrate, everybody will be a victim. It doesn't matter whether you support them or not. Basically, they can kidnap, they can even beat him. For you, because these fellows holding guns are part of security. They are the ones who, and that's why yesterday when they were charging Dr. Besigye, they said you had a gun which ordinarily is a preserve of security. So that's why I think, because they are not merciful, not just to you, but also to those below them. I usually pass by Mbuya every day. The senior military and police officers are riding in vehicles of 450 million. They go and stay in good places. These ordinary policemen and soldiers, they are still sleeping like goats. So what we should share, all of us, is being stolen by a few people, and people who below them that carry guns now begin visiting their frustration and robbing us. So those of you NIM, I hope you are, because many people claim to be NIM when they are not. But if you are, please take our message to your principals that we need security in Uganda, not in Nairobi, not in Congo, not in South Sudan. We need security in our country. If we have a surplus, then they can lend to Ruto in Nairobi. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, the Honorable Ssemmujju. I would like to further recognize the presence
of a young man at 33. 33 is when people begin to live, in a sense. Sadly, his life has been cut short. And to extend my very sincere condolences to Doreen, the Deputy Lord Mayor. It's interesting how situations like this cause us to discover many things. So Juliet, we served together at my church, Watoto Church in Tinda. Never had I known there was a connection between her and Doreen. Because she's normally very quiet, that's her serving, she's an usher and so on. Today is when I have learned that she's a sister. I didn't know that in Doreen's family there are people who are very quiet. I have learned today. But I extend my very sincere condolences to you good people. You know, the ED of KCCA was trying to steer clear of making political statements. And that's understandable. Unfortunately, you made a very political statement when you said we have an integrity crisis in our country. That's a loaded statement, which we can unpack on any other day. I will only extrapolate it a little bit and say we have crises, plural. So we have an integrity crisis, we have a security crisis. If a politician says, I am going to eat katogo in a market somewhere, a fairly famous politician, they will deploy all manner of shades of uniform because of this politician who has said he or she is going to eat katogo at a market. And I keep wondering, so these people actually exist, so why are we not reining in on insecurity? And you see, the criminals also know. They know that the priorities of the security outfits are different. The priority is politicians. What are they doing? What are they after? What are they planning? And so on. So crime will be at large and it will thrive. Because the criminals know there's less priority on them. That has got to change. If we're to see less and less of these situations, because they keep happening. And unfortunately, each time there is such an occurrence, we go into panic mode and we come up with a grand idea. Now I think all border riders should stop wearing hoods. Then another person is killed, then they say, now we must digitize the number plates. Then another one is killed, then they say, now cameras, CCTV. Another is killed and some other idea. Because our priorities are the wrong side up. May God help us to realign our priorities. Those are the things that cause us to make a lot of noise and we are called names. Like Honorable Ssemmujju said, some of us have many friends in the NRM, even in Parliament. We sit and we tell them, but now, let's first de-escalate the political shades. This issue here, does it not make sense to you? Then you see the fellow saying, yes, it does. But how would I be seen to talk about this? May God help us to be better. I bring condolences from my party leader, the Honorable Chagulanyi. This morning, we were on the way to Zira to visit Dr. Kiza Besigye. So I called Doreen, the Deputy Lord Mayor. I want to, of course, sympathize with her. And that's when she told me there was this service in the afternoon. So we had an engagement with my colleagues in the afternoon. I told them, go ahead with it. We agreed that I do represent them here. So kindly receive his sympathies and the entire leadership. May God rest Albert Cook's soul in eternal peace. I also brought a small condolence contribution of 1 million shillings. Thank you. May God bless you.
It's not only about gun violence in Uganda, it's about the loss in this occasion of life, a wasted life of a 33-year-old fantastic young man whom I happen to have known and to have met. A young man in whose shop I entered and who, although the family say was a quiet person, engaged me substantially politically, both globally and locally. And then in the course next to him is another man who came to his rescue to take off his life. I think we shouldn't end our lives like that. But number two, if you're asking me about the question of gun violence, Mr. Museveni, the Democrat of 1980, went to the Luweero bushes allegedly to bring in a rule of law and civility. And he boasted in 1986 that he was going to demystify the gun. After 40 years, a young person who's been born within the reign of Mr. Museveni should not die in a cheap, simplistic gun violence here in Chiwatule. That young man was doing a simple, basic job of basically trying to earn an average living. We know, and politically we know, and Museveni did some economics, we know that part of the issue of crime, and I'm not justifying crime, is that people sometimes end to those directions because they want to find a way of earning living. So that means it's not all about crime, but it's also state of the Uganda's economy. But if Mr. Museveni went into allegedly to demystify the gun, it's not working, it has not worked. Many people, including in his regime, have been fallen victims of this. Number two, if Mr. Museveni claimed, as he did at one stage when one of his guys was killed, that he was going to CCTV Kampala and the rest of the Republic of Uganda, as my fantastic friend Doreen in Nigeria asked, and it's really a demand for all of us Ugandans, that all these people should be brought to book. So we hope that there's some CCTV cameras around Chiwatule that must be able to make sure that these people, particularly because it is within the vicinity of Kampala, and that the security services, deploy all their resources to make sure that we're able to identify these people. And if we're not able to identify this, then it's not about Doreen, it's not about her brother, it's not about the incident in Chiwatule. It's telling you that Uganda is now open for, if you like, criminal business. If you can have security people who are able to go to Nairobi to look for, as my other good friend suggested, merely for 2 pistols and get Kiza Besigye, they should have the capacity to apprehend 2 people who caused the loss of lives of 2 ordinary Ugandan citizens. But you know what? It's about rule of law. If some criminal in Ntinda knows they can get away with it, of course they will, because they know some criminals around town can get away with it. If some criminal is desperate to look for mobile money bag of some average individual, possibly they do that because they know there are some Mabati thieves who take in billions and they get away with it. So no, we need new urgent constitutional order in this country. But of course, also like the Vicar said, maybe this is a time for reflection in our country, that it's possibly not about partisan politics, but a situation in which people make sure that they do the best decent job of their day, make sure they go to work because they pay their taxes, that the security services are there to be able to do their jobs, and that when they come from their businesses, they should be able to walk home, take taxis home. I know the NRA broke out trains and buses, those don't exist, but whatever happens, people leave their places of work and they go home, in peace and safety. That really is one tiny little thing that NRA can give us after 40 years. And if they can't, then maybe it's a failure, it's a flop system, it's a system for which lives were lost in the Luweero and lives were lost in Kampala for nothing. Maybe it's time for this regime to pack its bags and go.
Okay, thank you.
I say, Honorable John Mary, I say, I have just gone through a situation like this when I lost my mother a couple of days ago. And I know how difficult losing somebody is. The difference is that my mother had been sick for a long time, but here is a young person at the prime of their life, 33 years old, passing away in a very, very sad situation. It is a big question about the security that we have in our city, and of course the challenge we have presented to our security forces to make all attempts all possible to find these perpetrators and bring them to book is a most welcome call of which I associate with. I did not know Apoli, the late, but I have heard what his sisters had to say about him, and in particular the question of integrity. The question of integrity, the question of dependability and hard work has come through. I would like to use this opportunity to say that these issues, when you hear somebody talking about dependability, integrity, at a time such as this in our country, that is something to pay attention to because it is fast running out. We are having a crisis of integrity in our country, and this is not a political statement. And I really, really hope that we address this issue across the board, because a country that loses integrity is a country that is heading to a very dangerous place. And to rescue us is not going to take just politicians. I don't even know if it is them to do it, but maybe all of us. I think this is a time for soul searching and asking ourselves, where did we go wrong? So you kill a young man at the prime of his life to steal his bag of money and end a life, a promising life, because you want to take some money. What does that say about our people? And these cases are many. We know about this because it involves the relative of our Deputy Lord Mayor, but I can tell you that these cases are on the increase and it's of great concern. But that said, let me say that I would like to thank very much the colleagues who have come to be with our leader, the Deputy Lord Mayor. We want to stand in solidarity with you and to tell you that we'll continue praying for you and your family. And we hope the good Lord will give you strength to go through this most difficult time. Thank you, Mr. Sebufo, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words, but also